Shalom, shalom. I'm going to start off this video giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of the great millstone that rule well, teach well, while learning truth 100% according to the Bible. Also want to say shalom to the elect, the 144,000 men, prophets, servants scattered abroad the four corners of the earth. And shalom to you, Akwaf, which are you few sisters out there that are sincere, and your children, shalom. And in today's video, as you can see, I'm going to title it, The Spirit of Sedition is in the Air in Babylon, right? And it's ultimately going to be building off of this video that I have here, the latest news of things that you have taken place, which I'm pretty sure a lot of you brothers and sisters may know. But for you that may not know, you have this protest that's ultimately occurring, you see, in Washington, D.C., that I'm actually allowed to play in this video, where you have a lot of, American people, protesting and ultimately, having this rally about, trying to ultimately get Donald Trump impeached, man. You see, and all of these things are happening because we understand and know that we're at the end, of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man ruling the earth and wickedness, that this place America, as these people know it, is done, man. And that's why we only going to continue to see things continue to deteriorate in this country, man. You see, things are just going to continue to go down the drain more and more, right? So I'm asking to grab this precept real quick before we allow the video to play. This is 2nd Esdras, chapter 9, and I'm going to read verse 3. It says, "Therefore, when there should be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world," and this is exactly what you have happening all throughout the four corners of the earth. You got earthquakes that are occurring in diverse places, and you also have these uproars of the people, which goes into these protests and various different things like that. You have these things happening all throughout the earth, not just here in America, Babylon the Great, but you also have going on in Mexico, the Northern Kingdom, Jakes out there, they're rioting and, things like that and protesting against their government. So you just literally seeing the Lord put the spirit on all of these people throughout the four corners of the earth to be in this spirit towards their government. You see, and like I said, all of these things are happening because ultimately we're at the time of the end, man. Right. And ultimately chaos and things of that nature are about to begin to start unfolding very soon in this earth, man, especially in this place, Babylon and Great America. Right. But this is verse 4. It says, "Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning," right? Verse 5, "For like it's all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest," right? Verse 6, "Even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonders and powerful works and endings and effects and signs." Yeah, and we're seeing those signs happening all throughout planet Earth with the various different, things that are occurring. You see the tokens that our Lord Yahweh Shai left us, the things he said will be happening, ultimately in the end, ultimately leading up to his second coming. We see all of those things happening, right? You got all of these blood moons, eclipses, and things like that occurring right along with all of the signs, the wars, rumors of wars, the people being divided against each other. All of these various different things are tall tale signs that, we're at the end, man, So I'm going to get into this video and we're going to allow it to play. And then I'll grab a few more precepts and I pray it be edifying to you brothers, as well as you few sisters out there that may come across it. So with that being said, fair use. I'm not getting paid for this video. This is for educational purposes only, fair use.
Thousands gathered in Washington, D.C. for a rally billed Remove the Regime, a high-energy protest demanding the impeachment, conviction, and removal of President Donald Trump. Crowds filled the National Mall, carrying signs, banners, and costumes, turning the Capitol into a stage of political dissent. The demonstration was organized by the Grassroots Removal Coalition, drawing supporters from across the country. This wasn't just another protest. Speakers insisted it represented a broader national frustration with the administration. Former Washington Metro Police Officer Michael Fanone took the stage, telling protesters he showed up because the country is worth fighting for. He said Americans are tired of being ignored and tired of the current administration, a message that drew loud applause from the crowd.
I stood up like you were all standing up here because this country is worth fighting for. And every single one of you showed up today because you believe the same thing. This movement is not small. This is not some fringe fad, and it sure as hell isn't quiet. It's the majority of Americans who are tired of being ignored, and we're tired of this administration.
U.S. Representative Al Green of Texas delivered one of the strongest statements.
Right. And you hear what it is that the guy was saying just for the little bit of the video I allowed to play in. That's exactly how a lot of these American people feel, man. They're all in that, spirit of, ready to take matters into their own hands because they literally see that this government and these politicians that they ultimately been putting all of their trust in for this whole time, that they've ultimately been lying to them, man. You see a lot of these MAGA supporters, people that voted for Trump, because the majority of the people that you do have out here at this protest, I'm pretty sure a lot of these people are people that ultimately trusted in Nero. They believed that this devil was going to make America great again. They believed in all of the things that this man sold them. And now they see that since this devil has got in office, that everything that he promised, it ultimately been backfiring. Nothing have been going according as he has promised. And like I said, they got these American people in the spirit of ready to just, crash out to take matters into their own hands. And eventually that's how it's going to get real soon, because ultimately everything that we see happening in this place, America, is only going to continue to worsen, So, it's going to come a time very soon where, the Lord is going to stir up these people, man. And like I said, all of these protests and things like that we see ultimately happening, like I said, is ultimately going to lead to that, right? So let me grab Isaiah chapter 19, because this is ultimately the time that we're in. And I'll start at verse 2. It says, and I, right, will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, talking about these Babylonians, man, right? That's why you got the left going against the right and vice versa, just completely divided, man. You got people that voted for Trump, these MAGites, now they're going against Trump, you see. So everything in this place, America, is just, divided all the way down the middle. And like I said, that's because the Lord is bringing this place down. This place is done. So it says, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, right? And they shall fight, everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. That's your civil war. Because eventually, out of all of this stuff that we see happening, that's what's going to stem from it. Because like I said, these American people, they're going to get tired of listening to Donald Trump. They're going to get tired of believing in all of the dreams that these politicians are promising them. These people are going to, rouse up. The Lord going to put the spirit on them to, like I said, bug out, take matters into their own hands, and do things like that. That's what's coming. And like I said, everything that we see ultimately happening, is setting the stage for exactly that. These protests and all of these various little different disputes and things like that are occurring, is only going to lead to what's coming, right? So this is verse 3. And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers and to them that have familiar spirits and to the wizards, right? Verse 4. And the Egyptians, right, these Americans, these Babylonians, will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord. You see, and we believe through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua that that's Donald Trump, which is Nero back here in the reincarnation. Right. And he's a cruel Lord, man. I mean, look at everything that this devil's been doing since he came into the so-called White House. That's why you got these American people so frustrated. That's why you got all of them so, in a spirit of ready to, just, crash out, basically, man, because of everything that Trump is doing is literally pushing these people over the edge, man. You see, he's going against their so-called constitutional rights. He's violating everything that these people believe in. So, yeah, Trump is definitely that cruel Lord, man, And this devil is only going to show his horns more and more, right? But it says, and the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord of hosts, right? And I'm actually looking at that word fierce on the AI overview just for edification, man, because this is the spirit that this devil is in, a fierce state of mind, And when you go into the meaning of the word, it goes into having or displaying an intense or ferociousness, aggressiveness, right? So being very aggressive, right? And you go down, it basically goes into, savage, wild, untamed. Yeah, and look at everything he's doing, basically making it illegal, for people to be homeless. But then again, look at everything in this society is literally very expensive, right along with them laying off everybody from these jobs, people not being able to, make ends meet and things like that. And he's ultimately punishing the people for these things. So like I said, this man is that cruel Lord, man. And like I said, these people, they're tired of how this devil is running this place. And really, it's the Lord that's putting the spirit on these people to, behave and do the things they're doing, right? Because the Lord is the one that's ultimately bringing the division to this country, right? As it tells us right here, let me grab that. This is St. Luke, chapter 12. And I'll read verse 51, getting straight to the point. It says, suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth. I tell you, nay, but rather division, right? And we're going to look up that word division for edification's sake as well on the AI overview on Google, right? And the meaning of the word goes into the action of separating something into parts or the process of being separated, right? And that's exactly what we see happening here in this place, Babylon the Great. Everything in this country is separated, Everything is separated. You see, the political parties are separated. The people are divided. And we know what the Lord says about a kingdom that's divided, right? Let me grab that. We're going to go to Matthew chapter 12, and I'm going to read verse 25 and verse 26 in the NLT. It says, Yahushua knew their thoughts and replied, any kingdom divided by civil war is doomed, because eventually that's what's going to come to America, right? Everything that we see happening in this country is eventually going to lead over to a civil war, right? Because like I said, these people are going to get tired of, their government just lying to them, man. And the Lord going to put the spirit on these people to bug out, right? Because we're at the time of the end and all of these things are prophecy. They're going to happen, So it says, Yahushua knew their thoughts and replied, any kingdom divided by civil war is doomed. A town or family splintered by feuding will fall apart. Verse 26. And if Satan is casting out Satan, which you see happening all through this government, right? These devils being divided at the top, these politicians suing each other and all type of other different madness that they're doing amongst each other, right? You can clearly see that they're all divided, right? It says, and if Satan is casting out Satan, he is divided and fight against himself. His own kingdom will not survive. And that's exactly what we're seeing take place in front of our eyes. We're seeing the downfall of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. We're seeing this place, America, crumble right before our eyes, man. You see, because this place is done, man. And the Lord is about to do away with this damn place. So that's why we see everything happening in the way it's happening, right? Everything is all going according to prophecy, all according to the will of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, right? So I'm going to get back into this video. We're going to watch the rest of it, right? Then I'll grab a few more precepts.
Green of Texas delivered one of the strongest statements of the day. He vowed that before Christmas, articles of impeachment would be filed and voted on.
Before we take the break for Christmas, I give you my assurance that there will be articles of impeachment filed against this president.
And as you can see, these people in America, they're so damn simple, because all of these people that they ultimately, present upon you people to speak to you, all of these people are taking orders from the elites, right? And they're all ultimately working on the same side, man, whether it's Democrat, whether it's Republican, liberal, wherever you want to call these people or whatever they may name themselves, they're all on the same team and they're all trying to bring about this new world order, right? So they're going to try to, make it seem as though they're for the people. But, hey, everything that these devils ultimately tell you people they're going to do, they never come through on it, man. And we know that, hey, this devil's not going to get impeached, man. You see, whether people want him to get impeached or not, man, no, he's not going to get impeached. And that's just me speaking as a man, of course. But no, man, right? Because the Lord ultimately has this man in this position for a reason, man, to bring forward these prophecies, right? To, be the devil that he's being, man. Right. So, I'm going to just actually end up grabbing this precept as well, because like I said, once these people understand and realize that, nothing is going to change, because that's what a lot of these people in America believe in their mind. They think that this country is going to change for the better. They see things in this country getting better. That's why these people go out and protest and do all of these different types of things. But, reality is about to set in real soon, man, especially once, inflation gets higher, especially once this dollar crashes. Everything that's really about to come down the pipeline upon this country, once these people really understand and know that, this place, America, is beyond saving. There's no hope for this place, which you already got a lot of people that know that already. But the majority of these people are not in that spirit yet. But soon come, hey, the Lord is about to, reveal it to them. And like I said, that's when you're going to have all this chaos. That's when you're going to have all of this, division and fighting and quarreling and, stuff like that that's coming, right? So this is 2nd Ezra chapter 15. And I'll start at verse 14. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Because that's exactly what Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is bringing. Destruction, which is what that word woe means, man. Verse 15, for the sword in their destruction draweth nigh. When something is nigh, that means it's close, it's near, right? And we see that these bad times are right at the door, man. These things are around the corner. That's why it's no coincidence you got these devils. You got Donald Trump, where he actually just put together a law to where they're going to, set up these National Guard task force units to deploy all throughout various cities in America. They're trying to have this in store by, I believe they said January or February of 2026, which is, like 2-3 months from now. So like I said, all of this stuff is at the door. These times are upon us. This is what's coming. Right. That's why the men of the Lord, starting out with the elder apostles and the elder bishops of the great millstone, we constantly go over these things, as well as the affiliate brothers that are teaching the same doctrine. Because, hey, this is what's coming, man. Whether you people want to believe it or not, whether you people think it's not going to ever happen, hey, you people's opinions don't matter. You people are about to see real soon, man, because the Lord is about to, shake things up for the worse for you American people out there. You people that trust in this place, you people that believe that this country going to get back better and all of this different type of madness. Hey, that ain't coming, man. Only thing coming is chaos. It says, verse 15 again from the top. For the sword in their destruction draweth nigh, and one people, right? That's your civil wars, your race wars, your class wars, right? One people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands, right? The modern day swords being those guns, man, that a lot of these American people are in possession of, And as they say in the world, when people have nothing to lose, they lose it. And that's exactly what these people are about to do real soon. When they really realize and understand that this place, America, is done, that, hey, there's no hope for this place. Hey, people ain't going to, want to do anything else but crash out, right? That's going to be ultimately these people's last result in their minds, And like I said, the Lord is the one that's doing all of these things. Verse 16. For there should be sedition among men, right? And we're going to actually look up that word sedition as well. And I'm going to type it in on Chat GPT, because it ultimately gives you a more in-depth detail of the word, right? So we're going to type it in on Chat GPT real quick. So bear with me while I pull that up, And we're going to type in, what is a sedition? Right, we're going to type that in on the chat, right? And what popped up is a sedition refers to actions or speech that encourages people to rebel against the authority of a government. And we already see that happening on a small scale with these protests. But like I said, eventually, people going to take matters into their own hands. People going to be out here with guns, and, doing whatever it is that they see necessary, man. That's what's going to happen. It says sedition refers to actions or speech that encourages people to rebel against the authority of a government, right? It usually involves inciting resistance, disorder, or violence, which is coming against lawful authority, but falls short of actual violent acts, which would be insurrection or rebellion, right? And when you go down, sedition, encouraging rebellion. Insurrection, actually attempting rebellion. And that's what's about to come, man. That's why, you've been having Nero Trump for the last few weeks. Actually the last few months since this devil came into the White House, he's been talking so much about, implementing the Insurrection Act, because eventually that's going to come, because you're going to have people that are going to fight against the government. You're going to have people that are going to rise up against these politicians, against these corrupt, officials, man. And these people know that. So, everything is being set up, man. And Esau, he ultimately wants these things to happen because, that gives this devil, as they say, going back to his Freemasonry, Ordo al Chaos, he ultimately creates the problem, and he looks at the reaction of the people, and he comes in with the solution. And the solution going to be, with all of the chaos that's going to be erupted, is bringing in the military. Right. That's why we've been seeing them do test runs since this devil came in the White House, man, with them sending the National Guard troops to places like Chicago, Washington, L.A., Portland and various other states, because it's ultimately just setting the stage for what's coming. You see. So bear with me. I'm actually type in, what is the Insurrection Act? Right. of 1807, and I typed it in on ChatGPT as well. It says the Insurrection Act of 1807 is a law passed in 1807 that gives the U.S. president limited authority to deploy military within the United States in situations such as suppressing insurrections, quelling domestic violence, enforcing federal law when it cannot be enforced by normal means, responding to a state request for help during major unrest. And that's exactly what's about to come, major civil unrest. That's why, like I said, we see these devils putting everything in place now because they know it's only a matter of time before it comes, right? And we know it's only a matter of time because, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is about to, allow the chaos to erupt in this place, man. You see? So, these things are definitely at the doors, right? So I'm going to get back to 2nd Esdras 15, and I'm going to read verse 16 from the top. For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. Yeah, people are not going to care about these politicians. People are not going to care about the government or any of that. People are not going to be caring about these National Guard soldiers, these police officers. It tells us in Matthew 24:12, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Word cold in the Greek goes into psycho. So, these people are not going to care about anything in these times. It's just going to be complete lawlessness, man. Chaos, So it says, for there should be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. And the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Yeah, man. People going to be out here doing whatever it is that they see the need to do, man. These are the times that we are in, you see. So I'm going to just get back into the video, and we're going to ultimately allow, the rest of it to play through. So bear with me while I do that.
There will be articles of impeachment filed, and there will be articles of impeachment voted on in the Congress of the United States of America.
Green warned that waiting was no longer an option, saying conditions were worsening, not improving.
Our watch. We cannot wait until some other time, hoping that things will get better in the meantime. No, things are not getting better. Things are getting worse. We must convict. We must impeach. We must have him removed, and we...
All right, and you hear what it is the guy is saying, and he said that ultimately they want to get peace, but ultimately we know what the scriptures say, man. Peace is not coming to this place, America, right? Nor to you Babylonian people, man. You see, only thing coming to this place is destruction, man. And that's what a lot of you people don't understand, because you people don't know the prophecies. These people don't know the times and seasons that we're in, man. And I'm talking about for the majority of our own people. You average Negro, Latino, Native American Indians, you people have no idea what season we're in or what's coming down the pipeline, right? This is Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 25. It says, destruction cometh, and they shall seek peace, and there shall be none. Yeah, and that's what we see these people doing. You see, because they see the writing on the wall that things are getting worse. But here it is. They're still trying to put their trust in these politicians, man, thinking that they're going to save the day and all this different type of madness. But, hey, they can't save what Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is about to bring, man. You see, they can't stop it, because it's going to happen, and that's the reality that a lot of you people are about to, realize real soon, man. There ain't no stopping prophecy. All of these things are going to come, So with that being said, Abaratazah, I pray this video be edifying to you brothers, as well as you few sisters out there that may join it. With that being said, I'm going to end the lesson giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua Ba'Shem Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of the great millstone, where I learned this truth 100% according to the Bible. To the next time, I'm going to say shalom to the elect. Shalom.